Hello and welcome to Passion Week. Today is Thursday and we're going to embark on this journey to see where Jesus is inside of scriptures. And on Thursday, Jesus has this last opportunity to speak to all of his disciples. And what is very interesting is in everything that is going on, we have the Last Supper, we have Jesus announcing a betrayal, and even the breaking of bread and of blood. And what is so interesting here is Jesus is showing his passion and his love, therefore, within the people. What is so amazing is not all of those events, but how Jesus continues to love every single way that he can. But in his loving, he is also showing this devotion of his heart and teaching the disciples there within. It is a beautiful thing for us to see and break down. After the Last Supper, Jesus even embarks on this time and this moment of prayer, where he goes off into the wilderness with Peter, James, and John, and he begins to pray. And this is what I want to take a look at today. Although there is so much for us to really unravel and unfold, there's one specific thing that really spoke to my heart. As Jesus is finishing dinner, he grabs 3 of his disciples and he goes off into the Garden of Gethsemane. And him, Peter, James, and John separate themselves from everyone else and get intimate with God the Father. And that's the scripture I want us to look at here today. How Jesus prayed intimately to the Father. He cries out, "Abba, Abba." And this is so intense for us to really know and see what Abba truly means. It means Father. It's this cry of deep gratitude into one that you respect and honor highly. And that's what Jesus is doing here in this moment. He's crying, "Abba, Abba, Father, Father." And I wonder, if we look at our own prayer life, how do we cry out to God? Do we cry out to God in this deep and passionate way where we give all of our sincerity and all of our passion within and our respect to God? That's what Jesus is doing here. First very important thing for us to realize is that we too can call out to God as a father because he has inherited us as his children. That is good news. That is amazing for us to be able to experience this deep intimacy with the Father. To continue in the prayer, we see that Jesus cries, "Abba, Abba." Then he says, "If it's your will, can you take this cup from me?" Jesus is in all agony. He is crying from the deep passion within him about what he is about to experience. "Lord, if it's your will, take this cup from me." Reading in scriptures, we see that Jesus is hurting internally here. And what's so important for us to realize is Jesus comes personally to God the Father in all honesty. He says, "Lord, this is what I'm struggling with." How often do we do that in our own prayers? Instead, we begin to go to God and we ask for our own well-being and we ask for our own direction. I tell you right now, when Jesus was there and he was devoting himself, he was crying out, he was even sweating blood, but he was in honesty with the Father. He said, "Father, this hurts me." To continue that prayer, we see that he then says that if it's your will, let it be done. So we see Jesus cry out intimately, "Father, Father." He's intimate with God, but then he's honest with God. He says, "I'm dealing with this right now. I'm suffering through this, but whatever it may be," he cries out at last, "whatever your will may be done." And Jesus shows this, that he is trusting in God the Father. And I wonder in our own personal lives if we trust in the Father when it comes to our prayer or when it comes to our utmost hurts and agonies deep within us. Maybe it's not even suffering, but maybe it's the goodness within our hearts. Do we cry out, Lord, this is my passion. This is what I know you've called me to do. This is what I love and long for. And whatever your will be done here, can it be done? I trust you, Father. A challenge I would have for you is to simply re-examine your own prayer life. Pray like that of which Jesus left us with on Thursday. I love you guys and thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.